Be sure and tell them Large Marge sent ya.
In the 90s, we were just teeny tykes. We rented movies and our bikes. We wanted to be DJs, but we were just teeny gals. So we went off to college and we remained as pals. 20 years later, we're still watching flicks and we're bringing you the favorite bit by bit. Sweetie and Sweetie are here to say it's the Large Marge Santa's podcast. Hey.
Hey guys, welcome to the Large Marge Santa's podcast, your favorite podcast where two sweetie sisters talk about their favorite flicks from childhood. I'm Sweetie with a Y.
And I'm Sweetie with an IE.
And we're back. Okay. Hi.
Hi.
We have some difficulties. I may have forgotten the microphones.
We're rusty. Rusty as hell.
We're
getting equipment.
I have COVID brain from September still, and I forgot the mics, and so now we're back to one mic, like the Dark Ages. It's very weird.
And by the Dark Ages, we mean what? Like the first couple episodes of our podcast starting in 2016, right?
Well, maybe like it was like medieval. Wait, were the Dark Ages medieval times? When were the Dark Ages? So we started with just talking into Sweetie's computer, no mics. Maybe that was like the darkest. Yeah. And then we were like, yay, let's buy microphones. But we couldn't figure out how to get two to feed into the same. I don't know. It was the whole thing. It took us for, I don't even know how I still don't know how I figured it out. Yeah. So, you know, regression, it's fine. Whatever. We're back. But yeah, you know, life is hard. You know, babies, summer, tired.
We bought a house.
Sweetie and Jimmy bought a house. I was not included.
Wouldn't that be cool if we bought like a Sweetie mansion? That would have been really fun to come and tell everybody, but that's not what happened.
Yeah, so Sweetie bought a house. Congrats to her. A lot of big milestones over here. Sweetie Junior started crawling. She's creeping. She's getting ready to walk, you know.
So she creeps. Yeah, creeps around the living room, and then she picks up her toys and
plays and falls. Went in different directions, but anyways, yeah. So we're back. I picked a movie. I just for a while I thought this one was not like watchable, streamable, but I guess things changed. So I picked Ferngully, the non-Disney cartoon. Is it the same studio that did like Balto and
Rainforest?
The Penguin, the Pebble, and the Penguin? Is that the same studio?
Yeah, I'm assuming, and I don't know like what that studio was. Should have done a bit more research, but yeah. So we always talk about how, obviously, big Disney fans. Who isn't? But growing up, there was the other cartoons that were not Disney, right? So we're talking, and we've talked about this many times.
Swan Princess.
Oh, I don't even have that
Swan
one on my
Princess.
list. I'm talking about Five-O. I'm talking about All Dogs Go to Heaven. I'm talking about Thumbelina. I'm talking about Land Before Time. I'm talking about Balto.
Rock-a-doodle-doo.
Rock-a-doodle.
Oh, sorry.
We're
is it
back.
Not,
Do you remember
is it
that
not
one?
Doodle? No.
With the dinosaurs? We're back.
Is it like Land Before Time?
Yeah, but not sad.
Land Before Time is one too, right?
Yes. I said that. Were you listening?
Oh, no, I wasn't. Interesting. Yeah, but you can really tell when you're watching these that it is not Disney. As Sweetie pointed out, at some point there was like too many fairies in the shot and they gave up on animating the fairies in the background eyes. And I was like, you know what, this would never happen in a Disney film. Let's just get that out there right now. But
here's the other thing I think. The stories are like a little bit looser. Like you're kind of like, this doesn't make any sense. So I feel like the storyboarding is not really happening with those. Also, the songs are just not as good, not as catchy. Sorry.
well, I can't remember them, but I liked them at the time that they were happening.
Yeah,
but now I don't remember them. I just remember Tim Curry's sensual voice.
I mean, from an off-brand, I'm saying off-brand, but a non-Disney cartoon that we just named all those ones, right? Are there any songs from those that you remember? A1?
Somewhere out there. Also, What about, wait, is Anastasia an off?
Yes.
Okay. Once upon a December.
Okay, so 2 out of like how many? So yeah, so they're just like slightly weak, those ones. So I don't know what up with that, but you know, Disney's a beast. I mean, not the beast from Beauty and the Beast, but it could be. So it was always hard for those other studios to like get a foothold. But in 1992, they did with this little ditty called Ferngully, right? And sort of capitalizing on the rainforest and feelings around like saving the earth and what is that called? Like
Conservation.
Thank you.
So listen, when in the 90s, when I came of age in Skill, it was a lot of emphasis on saving the rainforest. Like that was like the big thing. So my question is, did we save the rainforest?
God, that is my question. I have it in my notes.
Because no one,
What did happen to the rainforest?
no one talks about it anymore.
I
Now we're
agree.
talking about like the pipelines or like the fucking, I don't know, whatever, guns, you know, like there's other shit going on. So like, has anyone,
Greenhouse gases.
right? Like
the
what are
seas rising.
we doing about the rainforest? Have we done
I think
anything?
we saved
Did we
them.
die? Really?
I think we said
Well, here's what I believe it, because bald eagles, they're not endangered anymore. So I believe it.
about the cows?
Miracles can happen. They were on the outs, weren't they? Are they still on the list?
They might still be on the list, but they might have had a resurgence. I don't know. I feel like that's something Jimmy would know.
Well, anything's possible. And as we learned from Ferngully, all it takes is one seed and some fairy magic.
Yeah. So who's in this Ferngully? So the voice actors are decent, I'd say. It was a nice smattering of like, in some ways I'm like, why are you in this movie? But other times I'm like, cool. So main girl Krista, voiced by Samantha Mathis, who I looked at her creds, and she was in like a bunch of TV shows and is currently in Law and Order SVU. Cool. I don't know like what else. Really didn't really recognize anything else from her.
Apparently, she was Princess Peach in the Super Mario Brothers movie, live action movie.
Yeah. So there you go. We have Christian Slater as Pips. And that's the one where I'm like, what are you doing in this movie?
Well, why is it Pips and not Pip?
I don't know. It just is.
It's weird.
Well, isn't a pip like an orange seed and he has orange hair? I don't know.
No, Pip's like a thing on a dice, like a dot on a dice. Pip. A pip. A pip-a-doo. Okay, my question so I believe Christian Slater was in animated whatever.
A small hard seed in a fruit.
Small hard seed in a fruit.
Hey, an
Wait.
excellent, very attractive
Oh, that must be why they picked it.
It's a pip of a story.
But a lot of people, I mean, like Mel Gibson was in Pocahontas. Like people, the hotties were in animated movies, right? My question though was, why didn't Christian Slater play the main guy?
Yeah.
It seemed very like an odd choice. Maybe he was like, I just want to take a back seat on this one, guys. He didn't want to be the main guy character. Weird.
Yeah, and maybe like I can only come into the studio for like X days where I'm like recording. So show me what you got.
He's a busy guy.
So then you have Robin Williams as Batty what's his last name?
Batty Koda?
Batty Koda.
Batty Koda. What is that? What does that mean? What is that name? I thought his name was Dizzy Bat at first. And I was like, oh, it's that Dizzy Bat. Which is funny because that's also a game. Really, though, this performance is Genie Part 2, really. It's just
Genie Light.
Genie Light. It's Genie as a bat.
Yeah. And confusing because this is the same year he did Aladdin, right? So he got this gig first and then Aladdin second. And they didn't want him to do both. And Disney got like pretty pissed about it, I guess. But very same idea. You know, he walks in the studio, does like, I guess 14 hours of improv, and they were so impressed they like featured him so much more in the movie than they were going to. And it's definitely one of those things where he just is like babbling and saying all these jokes that kids like definitely would not understand, but if you're a parent in the audience, you'd be like, that's pretty funny. So yeah, definitely total Robin Williams shtick. Classic.
And then we have the fabulous Tim Curry as the villain Hexus. Man, what a voice of molasses. Is that right? No. What is it? I don't know. A dream. It's just like a very like trippy, like kind of sexy. It really it sent shivers of the witch, the Grand High. No, what is his name in the Worst Witch, the Grand Wizard. Really sent me back there, especially during his song. And I was like, oh my God, I love Tim Curry singing. I wish he could just sing to me all the time. It was great. Highlight for sure, even though a very scary villain.
Then you have Tone Loc as the Goanna, does like one little song. And then you have Cheech and Chong as a bunch of fairies, two fairies, Stump and Tree or something. What are their names?
I don't know. I think that is Root and Stump.
Yeah.
Sweetie thought that that was the name of the two humans in the leveler, and I was like, what's Root?
Listen, it could have been. They were destined to be felling trees because their names were Stump and Root, okay?
Interesting, yeah. But yeah, I guess that's it.
Oh, and then I found out the Magi? Yeah, you have it in your notes phonetically, huh?
Because they knew I was gonna get confused. They spell it like magi, which is very unhelpful. And then I was like,
Maggie.
yeah. And then when you're writing it phonetically, I was like, it looks like Maggie, so now I'm gonna say Maggie. But then I was like, Magi, and I was like, no, now I can't remember what it is. What is it? Magi. So it should be like 3.
Maggie Lune is her grandmother, who in my stories today, the character looks like Angela Lansbury. It is not, but is voiced by, and I like looked her in IMDb, and she kind of has like this mean face, and I'm like, I've like seen that lady before, and then I like sweep through her credits, and she was Mrs. Ross, Susan Ross on Seinfeld's mom.
They were gonna say Susan. I was like, whoa, that's weird. Wow, good one, good deep cut. Is that it for voice talent? Great. Okay. Yeah. So cute movie. I think I remember this as another classic Kim Kaplowitz favorite. Like she had the VHS and we would watch it. I remembered a couple of key moments, specifically the scary like smoke monster, whatever he is, and then also the human Zach dancing to his sports Walkman was definitely a memory that I had in my head. Happy to report both of those things were true. But other than that, like I didn't remember too much. I remember like Krista kind of like being a slutty fairy and the bat definitely for sure. But then some other stuff came back to me during it. So yeah, I think I remembered a decent amount.
Yeah, I didn't remember too much. I think I've only seen this like once. And I had definitely a different vision of it in my head. And then we sat down to watch it. And I'm like, okay, I remember this being like sort of better animated, I guess. And more like them in the trees. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of a different movie. Who knows? Probably made up the movie in my head like I usually do. But yeah, it was a little confusing to me, to be honest. I'm still unclear what happened at the end. The songs were decent and like kept you moving, but pretty unmemorable, I'd say. And like and they really tried to like play to the 90s, the time period they were in with like the hits. Mm-hmm. It was like on every radio station like represented. They're like, ooh, rap, like easy listening, Raffi. So we'll go over the songs. But it was cute and lots of animals. This is what I was most impressed about. So it takes place in Australia, which you're like, okay, forgot that there's rainforest in Australia. Here I am thinking this movie is taking place in the Amazon. Yeah, no, there is. And so it takes place in Australia, though none of the humans speak Australian. The guys who are the tree who like are in Australian. Yeah, speak Australian. The guys in the leveler are straight up from like Staten Island, New York, and their names are Tony and someone else. So that's funny. But yeah, what was I going to say about that? I forget. But yeah, I liked all the animals. There were so many animals, new ones like all the time. It was crazy. I mean, if I was a kid, I'd be really, really wowed about that part. I loved it.
Did you know what they were?
Yeah, well, it was like a lot of them were the very famous Australian animals, but there's just like a lot of bugs, a lot of fungi, interesting mushroom shots. Obviously, trees, tons of flowers. I mean, it's just like flora, fauna, everything represented. Very, very cool.
Fauna. Yeah, cute. Okay, well, we'll try to get into the synopsis. No promises on the end. If we will understand it or explain it properly. I read it. Okay, so my theory is, nobody knows what happens at the end because on the IMDb, all these people wrote a synopsis, like a full synopsis. Like these people are giving like details down to what people are wearing until like the last part. They're like, and then Krista saved the forest. It's like,
I mean, I was kind of distracted and playing with the baby, and it was kind of like a weird acid trip. The end too, like. Something was going down there, and you just did not know what it was. Then all of a sudden, the granny turns gray, and you're like, "Oh shit, dead, I think she's dead." And then, it's like over.
Skipping
So,
ahead,
that's the movie.
Spoiler.
Okay.
Sweet synopsis.
Maggie dies.
Maggie, no. All right, well, let's get into it. One fungi at a time. Do you know it's actually pronounced fungi?
Oh, fungi.
Yeah, it's not as fun. Actually, just kidding. Fungi is how it's pronounced.
What did the mushroom say when you walked into the bar?
You look like a fungi. No, I think the bartender says it. Why would the mushroom say it about himself?
I thought I was.
I'm a
say,
fungi.
I'm a fungi.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's probably variants on that, but yeah, I think the magic mushroom documentary on Netflix, all these mushroom experts were like fungi, and I was like, this is stupid. I demand a recount.
Ruined it.
You know what I mean? Like none of the fungi jokes work now. So great, you ruined it. But yeah, okay, let's do it.
It's time for the sweetie synopsis. Yeah,
Sweeties.
what's that line you remembered? They're like, oh yeah, I remember this one that Robin Williams says.
Like chewy. Someone tastes like chicken. I don't know. It's like when he's. I don't know. It's something when the goanna was eating Zach or whatever. There's a bunch of lines in here where I was like, did I learn that from this, or did Robin Williams like steal it from somewhere else? Which he usually does. I would say most of his improv is just like him saying lines from old movies. So it's very possible. But good times. All right. Krista, no last name, is a fairy in the magical forest Ferngully, which, believe it or not, is the last rainforest. I'll tell you what happened. And we kind of learned this story in the beginning. I didn't really hear some of it because we didn't have the volume super loud at the time. But apparently all the humans died and destroyed the forests. So bummer. But there's this last rainforest left, which all the fairies live in, and they like protect and use their magic powers to like keep the forest alive or whatever. But it seems like the main fairy in charge of the power, or like who has all the power, is this Maggie person who is Krista's grandmother. I don't know how old she is. Don't ask me. All I know is that her father is similar. I can't say that word. Is very similar to Maggie in that they look the same age. So I'm confused. But anyways, so Krista, it's like a weird. She's like kind of still learning to use her fairy powers, I guess. They don't really get into too much detail on that. But okay, so here we have, let's see, the bat, right, is the first kind of like thing. So the Batty Koda flies in. He has like one Frankenstein like spark plug on his side of his head. Krista does some like magic spell that lets him see the fairies or whatever. So we find out that he came from a laboratory somewhere in the real world or whatever. And he was like experimented on and tested on. And so he's like shouting all these stories about humans, and the fairies don't think humans are real. It's like how we think of the fairies. Right. A very interesting spin. And Krista immediately is okay. This story, now that I'm saying it, is like, is this the Little Mermaid? Yes. Very intrigued by humans. Right. She wants to see them. Yeah. Falls in love with one, blah, blah, blah. So Krista flies, decides she's going to go out and like find these fucking humans or whatever. So she goes to the forest, immediately gets almost murdered by this thing called a leveler, which is like I don't know if this is a real tool they use to cut down rainforests, but it seemed crazy. So there's this human that she sees, blah, blah. Yeah, he almost gets killed by a tree. So to save him...
Spraying the trees with X's and listening to his Walkman.
He's not paying attention. Doesn't seem very safe. I don't think that's like in the safety. Did he even have a hard hat on? Like,
Where was OSHA?
Where was OSHA in this rainforest? So she does a fairy spell, and instead of saying something, she says something else and then shrinks him to fairy size. So now Zach is this human. He's a fairy size person, but not a fairy. So they're stuck out there, right? That's kind of like the conundrum. I don't know, because he can't fly.
They're far from Ferngully.
Well, he can't fly, right? So it's like, what do I do? Or like
they legit had to walk back. Oh yeah.
Why couldn't the bat take them? Maybe that wasn't the reason. I don't know. But whatever it is, so he kind of lies and is like, yeah, the X's are to protect the trees. And she's like, great, yeah, okay, cool. So, oh, by the way, there's a bad demon thing named Hexus, who Maggie like sealed in a tree long ago when she was telling that story in the beginning. Unfortunately, the humans have let him loose as they're cutting down trees. So now he's on the run. He is like an amorphous blob. I thought he was smoke when I was little, but he seemed more like a tar substance watching this now. Like, I don't really know what he is.
Is he supposed to like be symbolizing the like human greed or something like that, right? Like
that, all of that, or like pollution, like all these bad things that humans bring.
Right.
Sugar, like all the bad things we brought over. But yeah, so now Hexus is out, and unfortunately he's not possessing the humans. He's just like appearing over the intercom speaker as a boss person and is like, hey, go this way. And they're like, okay. So they direct the leveler to Ferngully. So bad biz. Eventually Krista and Zach get back to Ferngully, and he meets all the rest of the fairies, and all the fairies are super excited, like, oh, cool, a human, wow, they're real. But Maggie's like not too into it because she knows what's up. She knows what's up with this bullshit. And then before long, the leveler makes its way to Ferngully, and they have to stop it. And how they stop it is still a question.
Yeah. So like, here's what happens. So Maggie like locks everybody up in a tree. Something happened with the tree. She like sealed up the tree, but then they all got out of the tree, and then she turned gray and died and was like, this seed will save us all. And it was like, Krista, like, you have to believe in yourself. So then it turns into this thing where like Krista can save the day, but she needs to believe in herself and like grow up, because maybe she was leaning too much on Maggie and just being too like carefree fairy. So Maggie disappears in a puff of sparkly smoke, and then the leveler's like still coming. So then Zach gets involved, and brilliant guy that he is just turns off the machine, and the freaking smoke monster goes away. Like, wow, that's all it took? Cool. But not quite all the way, because then, I don't know, he was like eating the smoke of the machine, was like feeding him. So he temporarily went away, but then came back. And then Krista's like, oh, it's just like what Maggie said. Like, everything starts with this little seed. Like, this little seed will like save us all. So she goes into the smoke monster's mouth, and everyone's like, oh my God, Krista, she's eaten. And the smoke monster even thinks that like he ate her, but she planted the seed in him, and he starts sprouting. So all like turns into basically like a giant tree. So moral of the story is that you can destroy the rainforest, but it can grow again. From one little seed.
Is that true though? Like, I feel like
it's take 1,000 years, but it's gonna grow.
But do you need fairy power? Like, I don't remember anyone teaching me that in school. It seemed very definitive. It was like, the rainforests are gone, we will die because we won't have oxygen. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what I was taught, and I thought was true. Maybe is, I don't know. We can still breathe today, so I don't know. But yeah, I think that's a fair understanding of what happened. And then they send Zach back to human form. He goes about his way, and then
He's gonna save the rainforest.
oh yeah, he's gonna save the rainforest because they're like, wow, we can't do that anymore. Except, isn't Ferngully the last rainforest? So isn't it too late for them? Like, I'm confused. Do they mean other continents? I don't know. What about the Amazon? I don't know. Just some questions. But yeah, cute movie. A lot of songs. I don't. Did you write them down?
I did.
Okay. We can't really sing them because now we don't remember the tune. But I will tell you, my favorite one was "Toxic Love," which is the Tim Curry "Smoke Monster" or whatever song. Really great. Good stuff.
Yeah, so good. Very, Tim Curry was in Rocky Horror Picture Show, so very like bold and crazy like that. If I'm Gowanna Eat Somebody, the Tone Loc Jam, which is he's a goanna, which if you've ever seen Rescuers Down Under, great animals, great character in that. Joanna the goanna, so good. Anyway, so that, funny enough, was written by Jimmy Buffett, that song. Random. Like, okay, cool. Sung by Tone Loc. And that's what I was saying, where they were like tapping into like the 90s pop culture by having like these people in it. So like they had Cheech and Chong, they had Tone Loc. So one of those things. Not that the kids would know, but again, like I feel like these cartoons were always supposed to be, the messages for the kids and the drawings and stuff like that, but like all those little details are for the adults who go see it, right? So like can entertain the whole family. Toxic Love, as Andre said. Batty rap, so again tapping into like hip hop of the 90s, early 90s. So you have Robin Williams rapping, funny, but that is what it is. Raining Like Magic by none other than Raffi. The song started and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Raffi again, just tapping into what was going on. Baby Beluga in the Deep Blue Sea, so good. And then lastly, A Dream Worth Keeping from the little like love scene that they have. Okay, question for you all. Did they do it? Is my question. It got pretty hot and heavy. They were like wet. So Krista has this, not sexually wet. They were physically wet. They were swimming. Krista has like this kind of crazy, a pixie cut, but it's like big, voluminous. She's in the rainforest. It's humid. We get it. So she is swimming and her hair is like dripping wet. She looks like a different fairy. And it was all like sexy wet.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, do fairies have human parts? I don't know. I mean, my guess, I don't know. Zach seemed like a shifty character. He spelled his name with just a K, no C, so just Z-A-K. So seems like a bad guy. Had a
Zach Morris on it?
No, Zach Morris spelled it Z-A-C-K. Hello, Zach Attack. Hello. But yeah, I don't know. I wasn't too keen on Zach. I remember liking him a lot as a kid. I can see why. He's very like traditionally handsome, and he could really move with that sports Walkman, but kind of a dud. Not super into him as like a character. I wasn't.
Bro.
Yeah, I wasn't super into him. I'm Team Pips. I thought he was great. His morals were in the right place. I thought for a minute he was going to be like the annoying kind of like Gaston character where you're like, he's trying to win like the main girl, but she doesn't like him kind of thing. But they seem to just be friends. It seemed platonic. But I like his swagger and his outfit and his hair. I don't know. I liked, Team Pips. Are we done with the songs?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all the songs.
And then there's the one from that during the credits that Elton John wrote for. It was the first time he wrote for an animated movie. So it's pre-Lion King, right? When he like wrote the whole thing. Yeah. So this was the first animated movie he wrote. I'm not memorable. Couldn't tell you anything about it.
Yeah. In general, I would say like not all of these non-Disney movies, but this one in particular, I felt like they had tried as like a 5 out of 10 in terms of like songwriting, character names, place names. Like a place is called Mount Warning, and I had to look it up because I was like, what do you mean, like Mount Warning? Like that doesn't even make sense. The Batty Koda. Like, okay. And then Krista was okay. But very 90s, like a very 90s name, right? Krista. Zach with a K, obviously. We know what we say about that. But yeah, in general, like, not a lot of creativity. I mean, some stuff was cute, and there were a lot of, like, there are some a lot of funny lines. My favorite one, I think, was when the two tree cutter guys are in, like, the leveler, and then little Zach, like, falls on the windshield, and they're like, what did he say? He's like, there's a little man on the windshield or on the window. It was great. That was great. Yeah, Robin Williams had a lot of pretty good lines. And then there's just like cute stuff, like a walnut boat, you know? Always love a walnut boat.
Never.
More walnut boats, please. And then like a really random scene where like Zach broke a mushroom and he was like, "Oh, sorry," and he like put it back together. We thought we got a kick out of that. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's just those little details that were so funny. And in general, like the animation was decent, pretty good. Like I said, like all the animals were so great. Like the actual rainforest parts were really pretty, and yeah, a lot of like little twinkly fairy stuff going on. I don't understand why Krista had to be in that scantily clad little outfit. Like, who is that for? Yeah. Also, is this like manic pixie dream girl?
The other fairy
No.
I think it could be a good costume though, and I say that because I have that exact same color contacts that I bought for my costume this past year, which is poison ivy. And I have dark hair like that. It's not short like that. So
hair like that. You go on your
pass.
Like, can you give me the Krista?
I could just, update it. I'm just giving her a glow up, basically, is what I would do. But yeah, that'd be such a niche costume if like that, and then like your partner was like blonde and had a sports Walkman and like a blue, shirt with jeans. Man, that'd be great. If you know, basically, that's like that costume. All right. Sweetie has queued up some Google searching, so I'll let her take the next part.
Okay, so doing this movie, we talked about sort of how when we were growing up, like what was it like? Okay, now obviously everything, it is just a given, like about saving the earth. It is about recycling. We're talking about global warming all the time, every damn day. It's like pushed and pushed and pushed. Like the seas are rising. It's like there's too many tornadoes this year. Every year it's something, right? But growing up, I feel like it was concentrated on a few things. Like Sweetie said, obsessed with the rainforest. What was the deal with the rainforest? Like, were they all getting cut down? What happened to the rainforests? Did they stop cutting down the rainforest? Are they okay? Like, check in with us, rainforests. How you doing? But also, I remembered a couple other things that just felt like they were obsessed with. Because they didn't talk about global warming really when we were little. They talked about these things, which were like a little bit more specific, right? So here's what I remember. Okay, I don't have this on my list, but I just remember now. The ozone layer, right? Okay, that was a huge deal. We learned that there was this ozone layer and there's now a hole in it from using too much hairspray or something.
My favorite line on the ozone and from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. What do you guys think about the ozone? Yeah, we need to get rid of that. So that was my understanding of the ozone. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's...
Is that okay now?
Isn't it like greenhouse gases like led to the destruction of the ozone layer? I think we fucked up the ozone, and that's why we're all going to die from skin cancer or something because the sun's going to poison us. It's still there. It's just scientists accept that the depletion in the ozone layer is caused by human-made gases called CFCs, which were first developed in the 1930s for refrigeration systems and then used as propellants in aerosol spray cans. Yikes. Oh, my God. Okay, what other things did we learn about? Sweetie.
Okay. Here's another one. Okay, remember 6-pack of cans that come in and then it's like a plastic thing around it, and remember it was like if you don't cut those up, like the little fishes and penguins and whatever that floats in the water, like those things are going to die. Seals are going to die if you don't cut that up. And it was so stressful. I remember as a kid being like, oh my God, like we have to cut these. It was stressful.
It was, yeah. My question was like, why is my trash going into the water? Like, that was always my question. I didn't understand that. I still kind of don't. And it's like, how does trash end up in the water? We're not like putting the trash in the water. So is it like if I drink a 6-pack on a boat and I throw the thing in the thing? Is that, I mean, that's obviously the bigger deal, but whatever. Yes, I agree that that was a major concern.
And now, like, you don't even think twice about that. I don't do that anymore.
Recycling.
I mean, I guess I'm not getting 6-packs of cans very often. They come in like boxes now. I'm looking at this can. I'm like, where did it come from? Oh, yeah, it was in a box. Okay. Oil spills. Okay. Oil spills, big deal. Case in point. Remember that Saved by the Bell? Well, the big oil spills that happened, but also the fake one. The fake one. But I remember like there used to be all these videos where they'd be, these oil spills and like they'd have to clean all like the oil soaked ducts and everything. Oh, man. Like, so that was another like what was going on with those oil spills? Why are there so many oil spills? I don't know. I don't know if this was big anywhere else, but stop the outfall pipe. So when we were growing up, like on every stop sign in town, you would see like, so it would be stop, and then underneath it would be a sticker that said the outfall pipe. What was the outfall pipe? Like why did it need to be stopped? So I Googled it. I don't know. I mean, it's just like a general term. What is an outfall pipe? It's a sewer. An outfall sewer is any pipe or conduit used to carry either raw sewage or treated effluent to a final point of discharge into a body of water. So I guess like sewage was being dumped into oceans. The outfall pipe?
Yeah. So is that how the plastic rings ended up in the water? Okay. But I guess they did stop that. I don't think we do that anymore. Aren't there like sewage treatment plants? I don't know. This shows how much we know and care about the earth. I think we could be doing better. I mean, I have friends that care deeply about the environment. My friend Evan is obsessed with making sure no one ever uses a balloon. So good job, Evan. There's just like, like the straw debate today, like plastic, paper straws, big deal.
Random thought I just had too. Okay. This is sort of environmental, but not. Okay. Remember going to a beach as a kid? And I feel like there was always plastic tampon applicators at the beach. Why? Was that from the raw sewage being dumped into the ocean and then they'd wash up?
I'm pretty sure someone, maybe you, thought that it was people changing their tampons at the beach. And I was like, no way. I was like, there is not that many people that change their tampons on the beach. I think they were definitely in the water and like they washed up.
Disgusting.
Yeah, pretty gross. Pretty gross.
Bad news. Flushing your plastic applicator.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that, you guys. You're supposed to, or the actual tampon part is what I've learned. Right. I don't use tampons anymore, so like I know. Well, I'm saving the environment. I'm helping the environment. Right. Anyways, that's our discussion on Save the Earth, Planet Earth. Wait, what was that called? Wasn't there like a class called like Humanity? No, I don't know. Like, were we alive for this part? But yeah, man, what a time, the 90s. Early 2000s, Save the Earth. Earth Day.
With all these, like,
big deal.
Ways,
in all these random ways that were probably not helpful at all. So hopefully, we're on the right track now, but probably not.
I think you're doing a lot. And you're like,
I think we probably shaved off like 10 years from our life expectancy on Earth, but we'll be dead by then, so it's fine. Hopefully. Knock on wood. I think she'll be okay too. I think it's like 5 generations from us, maybe. I don't know. But by then, we'll have evolved and gone to space and we can like find other places to live. So hopefully it'll be okay. All right. Anything else we need to say about Ferngully? Hey, quick movie. It felt long, even though it was supposed to be only an hour and 10 minutes.
It was never ending.
Yeah. Especially that last segment. I was like, when is...
We paused it and there was still 15 minutes left. And I was like, what could be quick?
Yeah, what could possibly still happen? But cute movie. You can rent it on Amazon or most other streaming providers. Don't be misled by the year. It says 2004. Sweetie informs me probably because they re-released it. But like, man, that's confusing. Don't do that. So yeah, good times. Good times. All right. So again, maybe we'll be back in a week. Maybe not. Don't be mad at us. It's life. It's the summer, we got to take it easy. But you can find us on Twitter at The Sweetie Club or on Instagram at Large Marge Santos. Thank you, as always, for listening.